Hey y'all, what's good? Welcome to another video. This time we have the Figma Saber Arthur prototype, which is a male version of Arthur during some weird thing that fate, you know what? You just gotta watch it. You just gotta read it. You gotta play the game because I can't explain it. It's hard for me to explain because fate does some things to characters where you just go, oh, okay, and that's it. But yeah, overall, this is actually a pretty fun figure. I waited a long time for this, and I'm really glad to have it. It's one of those things where those asymmetrical designs really stand out to me, and it's just a small, subtle thing, but I really like the way it looks. So yeah, I'm reviewing it because I really like Fate, and I don't review enough of this stuff, but it's fun to get my hands on some cool stuff. So without further ado, let's talk about Arthur prototype. So I really like this armor design. I like that they chose the cloth on one side, the armor on another. I don't know what it is. Asymmetrical designs, even the smallest things. They really speak to me. So we really have a nice thing going on. I personally don't prefer plastic skirts. While they make it work a little bit better here, I think this would definitely do a lot better with an actual cloth design. But yeah, this one is actually softer plastic. These are made of a harder like material than this here. Just want to point that out. Let's get some light over in front. Now that we've talked a little about our look and seen it, let's talk about our articulation. Our head sculpt is pretty well done. It's very anime, and you can actually tilt in more ways that I thought than before, which is actually pretty cool. So you can go, you can't really look up. Oh, no, mine's just stuck. So you can look a little bit up. You can definitely look down. You can tilt and you can rotate. You can actually even go all the way this far back, maybe even a little further. There's even an extra little neck joint in there I didn't realize until just now. Our arms are on a new Figma-like system. That way they actually rotate around, even with our armor part, and the armor is attached to the arm. This wiggles left and right, but again, the drop down and upward method is really nice. Hopefully, I'm hoping that it can hold its weight over time. Unfortunately, Figma still suffers from that single joint issue, so this is about as far as you'll get on this arm, and that's because the armor plating right here is going to get right in your way. Otherwise, it will close up a lot better, but this is as far as you'll get here. Then you have your peg design, which is actually just like any other Figma peg. It rotates all the way through and around. Some actual Figma pegs, the older ones, still rotate on a vertical or a horizontal or a vertical one. Same thing here, and you actually get a bicep swivel as well too. So you get a bicep swivel over on this side as well. So rotating this guy out shouldn't be too much of an issue. Again, it's holding that weight that I'm worried about on its sword. And as you can see with this arm, we can fold all the way in on a single joint. Our collar here is going to hinder up this articulation just a little bit, but not a lot. So keep that in mind. Our waist area suffers from not having a real ab crunch. So you can go backwards, but you cannot go forward. You can tilt side to side though. So, and you can rotate and swivel. So just be aware there will not be a forward ab crunch on this guy, and you might make you a little sad. So sorry about that. Then we have our armor flaps down here, which actually rotate on the joints. And then you actually have these rotating back here on a separate joint. Again, I feel like this would definitely be better with cloth, but it does look very good on its own. But for me and my articulation needs, I am definitely going to need a cloth cape. Our leg can go forward. It has a thigh swivel, and it can rotate about this far back. Now, how this matches up and sizes up for something, that's when I have to be a little curious. So as I pose this guy up, let's see. Because with that new ab crunch, we're going to have to change around how we pose this guy. Let's see about our ankle pivot. Ooh, our ankle pivot's on a ball joint. So we can actually rotate left and right. And when you rotate the joint a certain way, you actually can get ankle pivot going left in or outward, depending on obviously how you rotate that joint. So keep that in mind. And toe pivot, just a little bit though, not a whole lot. So as we get Arthur posed up, let's say he was in like a fighting stance. Let's assume that Arthur can fight. Well, obviously Arthur can fight. We've all seen, well, sorry, you know what? We all haven't seen Fate, but Arthur could throw down. I'm not sure about this male version though, but Arthur herself can throw down. So we can get him in a semi-like boxing pose, which is actually not that bad. And as far as standing up, I don't think I've had any issues with just him standing up. He's actually done that pretty well standing on top of my work computer counter. So yeah. Without further ado, I do want to jump into the accessories because that actually has to do with cosmetic changes for him. So let's do that. So we're jumping into those accessories. Let's cover the hands and weapons first. So we'll actually get hands, which one actually fell off here. This is actually one cool thing I like about Figma, these little racks that they do. It allows me to cover all the hands at once. So we get our open action hands, we get our more calm, relaxed hands, and then we get our sword holding hands, which just keeps it actually pretty simple. I can go over these really easy. So I like this. I really have enjoyed this. Next up, we get two forms of our swords. We get two versions of Excalibur. And to slide these on, they're actually tiny little hilts, can screw out, and we just slide the hand through and we can attach. I don't know which one I like more because this one is, while simplistic, I really like this intricate design on this one. They're painted pretty beautifully as well too. So I don't know, but I'm very happy with how this is done. This is pretty cool. Next up, we're gonna go over our faceplates. As you can see, you've seen the neutral faceplate. Here we have our yelling faceplate, which looks very weird and generic without its hair. Then we have our winking faceplate. Again, very generic without its hair. But what's cool about this is they actually give you a power down hair version, because this is like, there's a lot going on with that hair. Again, very anime. So when you put a faceplate on this one, you actually get a little bit more personality to these guys. See? Power down head. Actually looks even more generic for some apparent reason, but overall does fit the character theme here. So this is pretty cool. Next up, we're gonna go with our cosmetic changes, and we're gonna show you that right now. Now with this, you actually, I'm gonna pop the head off. Let's pop this out. There we go. And you're gonna remove this chest plate, this very tiny, small chest plate. Please do not lose this. And what you do is, you actually have the option of removing this downward hood and placing this head on. And the reason why this is because this actually places better inside of the hood. I believe you can do both though, but this one works better inside of the hood. And that's why you get this head plate with it. So you push this head down in, which I'm gonna have some issue with because the neck peg always moves. There we go, but you're giving me some issues, homie. There we go. And make sure these line up with the hooded version, and you're gonna face this plate back on, because you have to make sure that they line up, otherwise it won't screw in. And this is what it looks like with his hood. It looks very generic, but it does serve as the Ascension version for him and Fate. See it? There we go. Yeah. So this is actually pretty cool. But what's also pretty cool is you can actually remove this and get another change for him, another extension. Rotate this collar back in place, and if you want, you get the flowy cape version, which again, cosmetic options are always nice. I like that this is included, especially for Fate, because sometimes there's little changes in it and it just completely changes the character and their stats in this game. Meanwhile, it's like other characters get dramatic changes. So to add all this on for this guy actually is pretty cool. Again, because some people go through real crazy changes. And that was all blurry the whole time, so I apologize for that. But yeah, this is really fun. Like, it's one of those simplistic things that make you very happy, especially if you are a Fate player or even just watch Fate casually. This has actually been pretty fun to do. I really like the way this turned out in the back. So while I don't like the plastic, this does look very, very good. Like, this is cool. So without further ado, guys, we're going to jump into the size comparison part. So I'm gonna back them on up like a U-Haul truck, and then let's get started. All right, guys, now we're jumping into the size comparison. So let's get to it. I don't know why I'm charged up today. First things first, let's jump into Gilgamesh. I'm gonna compare it with some other Fate stuff. Let's get Gilgamesh in here. Let's try to get him on a good side. I don't know why I kept the cape on. It was not a smart move on my end, but here we are. And as you can see with Gilgamesh, he is a pretty good size. I know Figma says they're non-scaled, and honestly they are, because they are all over the place in terms of size, but it's nice to see him not be a tiny, tiny human. Excuse me. Next up, we're gonna go with your boy Lancer, who I also have his winking face on. And with Lancer, these three boys look really, really good together. I don't know why, but the most outdated one looking is Gilgamesh, and that's actually because he came out before these two. It's actually been reissued a few times. But I really like how these guys look. Size-wise, I think it works out. And it'd be really cool to match these guys up and get some cool photos, right? Now we're going to jump into some more face stuff. And this time we're going to do... Oh, let's do Jean. Because I have a lot of Fate stuff, but I'm not going to take it all out. Here's Evil Jean. Jean Avenger. And as you can see, next to Jean, she actually looks really tiny compared to him. And then we're going to do Saber. Actually, the female Saber, which is the one that I knew and grew up with. Shout out to my boy KO, who helped personify my love for Fate almost like 12, 13 years ago at this point. So yeah, this is the Saber 2.0 next to Saber Arthur prototype. And as you can see, they look familiar to each other, but actually are very different. Next up, we're going to jump into some other stuff, because I actually really like Mythic Legions, and I think that other mythical stuff works very well here. So I'm going to use Mythic Legions, and I'm going to use Berserk. So let's put Figma Guts out here. You can see how Guts looks next to Arthur, and Guts is actually extremely taller than him, which is pretty crazy. And then we can compare it to a 1.0 body on Mythic Legions, and then we can see that actually he's not that tall. He's just actually taller than other Figma stuff, because when compared to other stuff, even this, like I said, they're non-scale, and look at these two. So it's kind of all over the place, but he can look decent in a fight scene with these guys, but just standing straight up, he is definitely a smaller gentleman. So let's try some other stuff out. I don't know what we're gonna go with next. Oh, let's try a 2.0 body in terms of the Mythic Legions. Here's a female 2.0 body. Actually, just a 2.0 body, I should say, because female and male ones, the only difference is the chest, and I don't mind that. And you can see that he still is smaller. Next up, let's go with SHF Kamerata Kuga. There we go. And in terms of size, he is close to Arthur prototype. Not too bad at all. Next up, we have an Articulated Icons Ninja. So ninjas versus knights. If Jeff Darrow's drawing it, I would actually be 100% behind that book. Here we are with a 1000 Toy Synthetic Human. You know what? Let's do... Who else can we use? I don't know who else I have out that can really compare to this in terms of Figma. Oh, and just in case you want to do some more mythical crazy stuff, I guess we could throw Hellboy in there. So yeah, it really works out. Overall, I really like the size of this guy. I actually like how he is, but he does not get as articulated as I may have wanted to, so it's definitely a more static piece, in my opinion. But overall, because I like Fate, I'm probably going to still cop more of this stuff, so it's not really an issue. But for those of you that have no adjustment to Fate and just like a cool knight, hopefully you guys will enjoy the photos at the end as I try to get buck crazy with it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it informative. And as always, please guys, be good, do good, and drink your water. Later.